Hello, this is JP Hrisoulas, the Cranky Old Bastard, with the final installment on hilting the Wootz Kindjhal. It is now finished. I went ahead and pared down the grip. Got that all nice and smooth, hand sanded it, because the 240 grit belts that I had were popping, and I'm waiting for the new ones to come in, and they haven't got here yet, so I had to hand sand everything, which is all right. It's a handmade knife, so it should be done by hand. I also set in the bronze studs here on the grip, one on the pommel, two on the bolster, two on the bolster, one on the pommel. You can see everything is pared down, nice and smooth. I will go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit. Let me take a look at it. As you can see, the buffalo horn is really nice and black. That is some nice stuff. I just wish it could have been ivory, but as I said before, given the social unrest that ivory's giving nowadays, I don't want to open up that can of worms. Even though all the ivory I have is legal, in this case, you're guilty and proven innocent, which I think just sucks, because the ivory I had was taken over 130 years ago in a safari hunt, and I have paperwork to back that up, but be that as it may, it's not going on anything. If anything at all, I'm going to make a couple of grip panels for my 1911, and that'll be it. Anyway, back to the Kindjhal here. I think it turned out quite nicely. You can see the fuller on it. I like fuller blades. They make the blade look finished. It just does. An unfullered blade can be nice, but you know, a fullered one just does it for me. Let's back this off a little bit so you can actually see it a little better. And so it looks proper on something like this. As far as it being done, it's complete except for the sheath. I'm going to go ahead and do that in the next couple of days. This piece will be available on my website sometime this weekend, probably Sunday. Let's see, today's the 5th. Around the 8th or the 9th, Sunday or Monday. It should be up on my website, www.atar.com. A link will be down in the description for this video. I hope you got something out of this. I want the station channel, or what I want to call it, these series, to basically show, not basically how everything is done step by step, but how things are done in steps and what the steps are as they're being done. There was an interesting program many years ago brought by the BBC called Connections, which was quite informative. It basically showed how somebody that discovered rubber 1,000 years ago allowed us to look at somebody on the moon. It was really an interesting and thought-provoking series. This is basically what I want to do. I want to model this after them. A lot of this will be repetition. A lot of it will be showing different aspects or facets or views of the same process. I don't know what the next is going to be in my series, but I'll think of something, and I should be posting one of those sometime next week. I think I'm going to show how to do a ladder pattern in a piece of steel, laminate. So back to the Kindjhal. It's done. Let me see if I can get a close-up of the Wootz here. Let's see. Can we get? I'm trying here. It's real tricky. Oh, there we go. Right there. Right, pretty much in the center. You see that all those little lines and grains? That's the Wootz. That's the crystalline structure of the Wootz. So I did manage to get that. Let's see if I can get the side here. Yeah, you see them at the bottom of the knife and the top. Matter of fact, it's a pretty good shot of all three. Let me see if I can get a little closer. A little closer here. There, that's a good one. As you can see, as it comes into light, the crystalline structure. This is what the term Damascus steel means. This is what it meant to the Crusaders. Not the pattern welded stuff that they were doing in Europe and everywhere else, but this was the crucible steel that was supposedly legendary, cut silk scarves that dropped on them. Saladin, cut the silk scarf after Richard sliced up the mace, and all this other dubiously told legends. This is interesting material. Like I said, it's very hard. Hard on a floor of hell, I'll tell you. I burned through a lot of carbide grips on this one. But be that as it may. Other than that, I think it turned out quite nicely. It's a nice representation of a modern Kindjhal. Earlier in the series, I mentioned something about storing your horn and antler and bone, and if you don't do it properly, you can get critters living in it and just destroy stuff. Well, here's a couple of examples of what happens to your buffalo horn once the wonderful silverfish get to it. As you can see, they've really dug into that. They're going in a good ½ inch on that side here, and they just decided to have a party here. Okay. And the same thing can happen on your scales. Somehow these two pieces got left out of my bug bag, and you can see where it's just ate up. But these are still usable once you pare them down and you get through them. They're only maybe in about maybe a 1/16 of an inch. That's a little bit more, probably almost 1/3 of the way through, but that's on the edge, so I cut around that and use that for spacers or anything else. But you got to be careful with this stuff because those silverfish will get you. They love horn, they love wool. Their favorite thing in the world is munching on horn. So to prevent that, I keep all my horn in a Ziploc bag with a couple of mothballs in it. But that's the easiest way to prevent it. So anyway, that's the series. That's it for this. I hope you got something out of it. If you have not done so, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. And if you have any comments at all, please feel free to make them. Any questions, you can either ask them for me directly through my website email address, which is jhrisoulas@aol.com, or you can ask them here and I can answer them publicly in case anybody else might have the same question. I would actually prefer you have them answered here, ask them here, because this way anybody else that might have the same question can get their question answered and save a little bit of time and effort and provide the information to everybody else. So anyway, in closing, thank you so much for your time. Once again, I do hope you enjoyed this series and that you got something out of it. The way I do things is just one way. Other people have other ways of doing things. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they always say. And the nice thing about blacksmiths is if you walk into a room full of let's say 10 blacksmiths with a question, you'll come out with 14 or 15 different answers and they'll all work. So we have a tendency to go a little overboard on some things. I know it drives my wife crazy when I'm at shows and people come and start talking and they can't shut me up because I am an open book. There are no secrets on this. Well, there are a couple, but I'm keeping those due to the fact that what they're asking for can be very hazardous and can end up hurting you or worse yet somebody else if you're not careful. But I'll keep those things like mercury gilding. I'm going to keep that to myself. That's just too hazardous now to do it. Besides, you don't need to do it anymore. I just did that for research purposes. But other than that, there is no secrets. The way I do things is just like I said, one way. There are probably 4 or 5 different ways to do this. They all work. If they get the result you want, that's fine. There are probably easier ways to do this than I do it. There are probably harder ways to do it than I do it. Remember, you learn more from a failure than you do from a success. And as that great plagiarist Thomas Alva Edison said, I never had a failure. I just found a whole lot of ways that didn't work. So, God bless you all. May the wise Lord keep you safe, you and yours. Thank you for your time. And once again, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. May you all have the blessings of Allah upon you. Thank you. Good night.